Hi, everybody. It's Craig, Nick, and Robert back with your Docs Daily group of picks and talk all things sports and sports betting at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time daily or 11 o'clock on Saturday mornings. And I'm going to be filling in for Lenny tomorrow. So it's going to be me and Griffin tomorrow. Lenny is moving his son out Arizona or something. So, Lenny, if you're listening while you're driving, howdy. And did his Detroit Red Wings win yesterday? They did, right?
I didn't think they played.
No,
yesterday.
they got bombed. He was 100%. I'm glad he's not here because he was 100% right and I was 100% wrong.
That's right, because he bet against them yesterday.
The Islanders were up like 4-0 in the first period. They ended up winning 5-0. I mean, the Red Wings are flakes. I just thought that was a good spot to hit against them. I will be betting against the Islanders when they get home, though. They just went 6-1 on this road trip. You see this a lot in baseball. Teams will have like a 10-day road trip and they play really well. They get home and then they lose that first home game. It's like I always tell people, I'm like, think about how you feel the first day back to work after you've been on vacation for a week and a half. So, yeah, I took one on the chin there.
Lenny's in the glory days of Detroit sports. I mean, I will say this, the Tigers had a great year. Obviously, the big free agent or a potential year with Scooble this year, like what happens in all seasons, we'll see there. Lions, another year of, I think they have a chance. Last year, they were not healthy. They're way healthier at this point this year than were last year. Of course, Pistons, there might be the best chance for him to win a championship. I don't think I would have said that 2 or 3 years ago. This team was ever going to have a chance to win a championship. And then the Red Wings are at least respectable. So good job, Detroit, Lenny, to get your fandom is at least doing well. Don't forget, if you want to get in on our free $60 account, docsports.com/free60. This will get you $60 perked into your account if you go through the sign-up process. You can use that either towards a week pass, which is $99 per sport. So you just pay the difference, or you can use it. A top day pass is $30 per sport. So you could get 2 day passes from whoever you like. I do have my first 7-unit play. College basketball, I have this year. Me and Robert talked about it on kickoff day. I was going to be super patient, and I have been. It is hard. It is hard to do what we do and not, you see some plays, you're like, I think, and I'm like, nope. I had 1 4-unit play at 1. Everything else has been basically 2 units. So I got a 7-unit today. Robert, I saw you on the board. Was it college basketball or NBA?
Neither today. I won my 7-unit college basketball and my 7-unit NBA yesterday.
And it might be college football because I was looking at
college football 7-unit tomorrow, and I will have another college basketball 7-unit tomorrow. I also really I'm going back and forth because I really like a play on Saturday in college hoops, and I really like a matchup on Sunday. So I'm debating which one's going to be my 7-unit play. I think it's going to be tomorrow, though.
Nick, you have anything big today?
No top plays today. Last night, we lost our 7-unit on the ice. I had Montreal in that game. I was thinking back-to-back with the Washington Capitals there, but Montreal forgot that they had a game on the defensive side. I mean, they couldn't stop a cold. It was so bad. Washington Capitals won that game 8-4, but with 4 minutes left in the third period, we were trailing by 1. It was 5-4. Just couldn't get the back of the net or take that lead. So we're bouncing back today. Smaller units across all sports here. We got a 1-2 unit on the NBA side of things and a 2 unit in college basketball. I'm same with you, Craig. I'm not going crazy about my college basketball here. Top plays, I haven't thrown one out yet. I like conference play a lot better, especially early on with these large spreads. So we're going to step back and we're still going to evaluate this weekend. But next weekend, we will pump up the volume on the college basketball.
Well, we got a big day. Today's the NBA Cup. For people that don't know what that is, I mean, this is the third season, right? Third or fourth? Third, I think. The Lakers won the first one. Milwaukee won last year. I think this is the third. For people that don't know, it's an in-season tournament that the games count towards the regular season, plus they count towards this. And it is a wacky – I'm going to be honest, I had a great first 2 years. So far this year have not been so good. Today there's 4, I believe 4 huge lines. And then the other 5 are at least reasonable. And be careful here because people think, oh, well, these big lines. The weird thing about the NBA Cup, just to throw this out there, is there's a point differential that is the tiebreaker. So every team, when they're up 10, 12, I think the max is 25 or 20, something like that. They're capping it now. but they want to be up by that max so that if it comes down to a tiebreaker, they get into the playoff style of the NBA Cup. So FYI, be careful. Let's talk college hoops, though. I want to talk college hoops because yesterday we talked about that Memphis game, Robert, way better than Memphis was in that game. The final score is very deceiving to what that ended up. And then the Texas Tech game, what a game that was. Texas Tech, of course, Toppin is, man, he's having a night. He's
awesome. He's an All-American. Yeah, I woke up yesterday thinking that Wake Forest was going to be my 7-unit play, that plus 10.5. That number was way too fat. But then I couldn't get away from Central Florida. That ended up being my 7-unit play, and Wake Forest was my 4-unit play. And both of those games went pretty much exactly the way that I thought. Like, Wake Forest is pretty good. Like, they kind of gave that game away. If they had not been as sloppy with the ball in the first and second half, they should have won that game because, player for player, they are just as talented. Honestly, they kind of did the same thing against Michigan. They kind of gave that game away as well. So they could have one or two.
Even more so, to be honest, the Michigan game, they played even better. I thought, how did they lose that game?
Because they shot the ball. But that's the thing. Like, this is why Steve Forbes has not been able to get them over the hump and has not been able to get them into the NCAA tournament. Because on Selection Sunday, either one of those 2 wins would have been worth their weight in gold. As far as Purdue, and I'm sorry, I'm watching college basketball over here too. I got the Yale game on and Utah State Tulane. I have a play in Tulane, so I'm watching those as I'm talking. But with Purdue, one of the things I touched on yesterday, on these neutral courts, it is hard to blow teams out. I never like laying double digits, 13, 14, 15 points on a favorite on a neutral site, especially in the first game of a tournament. Like, maybe in the second game, if a team went to overtime the night before and lost and they're just exhausted, they can get run out of the gym. But as a general rule in these tournaments, you never want to lay double digits. They go for conference tournaments too, by the way. When we get to March, we'll talk more about that. You can't lay those big numbers with Purdue. And last thing about Memphis, Doug McDaniel, he showed yesterday the value of having an excellent point guard. He was at Michigan for a while. Like, Doug McDaniel can play. And Memphis is going to be a little bit better than I thought just because they have such a confident floor leader.
I think that that game both of those games will be interesting today. I think that because both of them played ranked teams yesterday. How do they handle when they come back? That always is is there a letdown from Memphis? Because, you play the number 1 team right to the wire, and then you think you can just roll it out there with not that same emotion. And Memphis isn't good enough to do that. So we'll see. That'll be how that game's won. I actually have my 7-unit in that game. So the other game, everybody can get up for, Texas Tech, I think, is a solid team. And Purdue, dude, those 2 guards.
Yeah, Fletcher Lawyer is one of the best shooters in the country. Braden Smith is the best point guard in the country. They're awesome. It all starts with them. Not the problem with Purdue, because it's not like they're playing poorly, and they didn't play poorly yesterday, but Trey Kaufman-Renn hasn't been right. Like, he was injured. He missed the first couple of games. He fouled out yesterday. Like, him and Braden Smith have that. I will say it 100 times this year. It's like a Stockton and Malone thing going. When they get you in those pick and roll situations, it's almost impossible to defend because you have Clough on the weak side now hitting the offensive glass, and you got Lawyer lurking around. If you try and double, he gets his shot. But Trey Kaufman-Renn, if they're going to win tonight, Trey Kaufman-Renn has to play better than he has in the 2 games. Like, he didn't even play all that well against Alabama. Clough had the better game in that one.
I worked for Coach Huggins. Camps put myself while I played basketball in college. And Coach Lawyer was the guy that ran the camps. Of course, he ended up going on to be a Pistons interim coach. He's been in the league. I think he's a Clippers scout now. So long time go back to his family. Great family. His wife was the assistant volleyball coach at UC. So I knew them. And what their family, the daughter plays at Butler for volleyball. Of course, his brother played at Michigan State and Davidson. So great family there. Lawyers. I thought maybe he would transfer after his sophomore year because of the NIL. But I'm guessing Purdue's stepping up to pay these guys because none of them have transferred. So I'm guessing NIL money is pretty good at Purdue. All right, let's talk, Nick. There's a bunch of early games today. I kind of liked the early Butler game, but now that line, it was like 2.5. Now it's 4 against South Carolina. There's also another interesting game early. UMass and College of Charleston. College of Charleston is the favorite. That kind of jumped off the page at me. I kind of thought Frank Martin's UMass team would maybe be a pick 'em. What, any opinion on any of these early games?
I mean, we could look at the 3:00, the Wisconsin BYU game. I'm kind of all over Wisconsin in this game with
you and everybody else.
Yeah, I know, and it concerns me, but just, I mean, the trend is your friend, and I say it all the time here until I see otherwise. BYU lost to UConn at home. This one is played in Salt Lake City, so obviously BYU is going to be the home team here, but I like what I'm seeing out of Wisconsin here early. I'm going to take those points in my back pocket against BYU.
Interesting, they're played at the Delta Center, which is where the Jazz play, and the Jazz play tonight. So I'm guessing this is like, hey, we got to get this in, get out of the arena so that we can flip this around.
Yeah, that definitely works against BYU here, clearly, right? Yeah. Like that 4:00 Friday. So it's going to be what? Like, what time is that going to be local? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock local time. So, you know, you're going to have a little bit more corporate crowd than campus crowd, I guess you would say. You also have to remember that BYU knocked Wisconsin out of the NCAA tournament last year. These two teams played in the second round, and Wisconsin lost by 2. So there's a little bit of a revenge factor. I too like Wisconsin, not big. This is definitely not a big play for me, but I am just on a track where I am fading BYU early in the season. I do not think they're one of the 10 best teams in the country. I think they're a little bit overrated and a little overvalued. That is not to say that they are not talented, but some of the teams that played yesterday, I think would beat this BYU team on a neutral site. So, and we've just seen Wisconsin do this. They're always very good in that underdog role. They were for all those years under Bo Ryan, and they have been under Greg Gard. So anytime I see Wisconsin catching points, it always catches my eye.
The freshmen, I thought, was worried some of these freshmen might be overrated. They have not been overrated. They've all played great. Boozer from Duke, dude. Like, if you need a big guy, you're in the NBA. I don't know how you aren't tanking right now to get more balls, because that dude's going to be a double machine in the NBA.
How about Pete, the guy for Arizona? He did it again at Connecticut. Yeah. They won a true road game the other night in Stores, and they were the better team. Now,
that is one of the toughest places to play.
Yes.
Stores.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable performance. And Nick touched on it. Connecticut played the same BYU team. I had Connecticut in that game. BYU scummed out a backdoor cover. I think they ended up losing by like 4 or 5, something like that. That was not a close game. Yeah. Now, Connecticut had the advantage because that one was played in Boston, so kind of in their backyard. Yeah. They had the home crowd advantage or whatever. But that was a 20-point game with 15 minutes left. Like, BYU was never in that game. Contrast that with Arizona, who went into Stores, true road game, and won that game and was the better team in it. That's why I say, like, Arizona looks like a top 10 team to me, right? Like, BYU doesn't. They didn't against Villanova. They didn't against Connecticut, and I don't know if they will again this afternoon.
Yeah, the BYU people that like, oh, how's BYU good? They've got a donor, Pete Lindquist, I think is his name. Dude's loaded, billionaire, and he's basically blank check for both football and basketball. And there's a reason. There's a reason why BYU football is at my Bearcats this weekend. If they win that, they're going to be in the Big 12 championship game most likely and have a chance to go to the playoffs. There's a reason why they got the DJ kid, this big freshman.
AJ DeBonsa.
I mean, he's paying big money. They're as competitive as anybody out there as far as NIL money.
Hey, not to interrupt or to sidetrack the conversation, but David Federici, if I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, David, these are not premium picks that we're giving out. These are just kind of free plays, leans, and our thoughts on these games. If you have questions about a specific game in any sport, feel free to type them in the comments and we will try to get to them. If you want our premium picks, click on that free 60 link down in the description. That will take you to our website. That will take you to Doc Sports, and you can get everything there. Like any sport that you want, NBA, NHL, college basketball, football, we do NFL and college together. Go to the website and everything will be clear there. If you have more questions, use our phone number on the website. Call in. You'll talk to Guy. He's extraordinarily helpful, and he can help you get signed up.
Yeah, and his name is Guy, not a guy.
Yes, he's the guy.
And in the evenings or afternoons, it's Joey, and weekends, it's Joey. So those two handle our customer service, so you can talk one-on-one. Very few people have that in the industry still today. Let's talk a little this NBA. The Cup is such a I was so good on it the first 2 years. This year, I just haven't been as good. I don't know what has changed this year. Nick, any opinions on anything free play here for the NBA today in the Cup games?
Yeah, it's looking too good, but I got to go with my home dog homers here. The Chicago Bulls, they're -2.5 here against the Heat. I think this is a great spot for them. They just came off a thriller win. Vuk hitting a buzzer beater 3 there to win in Portland. Now they come back where they play their best basketball on the season. They're 5-1 here at home. And it's the NBA Cup. Obviously, the stakes are a little higher here. If it was just a regular game, maybe I would take those points with the Miami Heat, but I believe these Bulls here will. Their pace of play is fine, and what I've seen out of them at home this season, they will score a lot of points. I lean towards the over in this one, but I'm going to go with my Chicago Bulls on the money line. I'm going to eliminate that -2.5 here, take them on the money line, lean towards that over in this one too.
So
250.
So the
250 is a total. I could not believe that last night when I saw that. That's incredible.
That's the norm now with the NBA.
Yeah, it's 240 is like normal now. Just 240, they just roll it out every game. There's 5 games in this bracket. 2-0. Milwaukee's 2-0, but remember, Giannis is going to be out probably through the Cup. So even though they're 2-0, everybody else in this this bracket is 1-1. So this is a big game for the Knicks are 1-1, the Bulls 1-1, Heat are 1-1, and Charlotte's 0-2. So if Chicago wins here, they're going to have a real chance to win this. But whoever wins late, do not look for them to pull up because the point differential is there's probably going to be a tie in this bracket of these 5 teams, and they're going to be point differential will decide that. So this is where more than normal, where you're not just trying to win the game, you're trying to win the game by as many points as possible. I think it's either 20 or 25 is the max, so that it does get to that point. They might not push it, but FYI. Robert,
make an admission? Can I make an admission here? I never once in my life have considered the opening round of the NBA Cup in my NBA handicapping. Not ever. I know it's only been 2 years and this is the third year or whatever, but like today when I was looking at those lines, the fact that these were NBA Cup games didn't even factor in.
Don't you think?
I don't think there's that much buy-in yet. I think that like when they get into those elimination games, when it gets more like tournament style and stuff like that, like then, especially if you're a bad team, right? Like last year, the Lakers knew they weren't going to win. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, knew they weren't going to win the championship. LeBron wanted to win it because it was the first one, and he's just LeBron. Like that, I factored into my handicapping. But
I don't think like the Thunder, they won the championship, favored to win it again. I said yesterday when me and IC break down all the games, I said I actually think they would rather not be in it because they're like, dude, our goals are 1 goal this year. To win another championship. And to be very honest, the way their team's built, they could win 3 out of the next 5, or they could be that dynasty if they can find a way to the money wise to fit them all in. But I don't know. But a team like the Bulls, a team like the Heat, where the championship is probably out of reach for both these teams, it would mean something to these young guys to win the big cup. So I think this is very interesting. 250 is crazy. Like I was kind of thinking first quarter in this one because both of these teams first quarter have gone crazy this year. I think it was the Bulls against the Grizzlies. They scored like 82 in the first half one time. So the first quarter was like 46 or something. So I kind of think the first quarter over in this one. You don't have to.
I would take all 3 of the underdogs, frankly. Like I like all the double digit underdogs. I like all Boston shouldn't be favored by that much over.
Like Pacers?
Really? Like, I mean, the Pacers are the one that I could see leaving off the card. Like, they were the one. But, like, Boston, Brooklyn, I would definitely play. Like, I don't think Boston should be favored.
The Pacers are in a back-to-back, right?
And Washington. I think so.
No, I don't believe so.
They beat
I don't think anybody's on a back-to-back.
Charlotte. Was that Wednesday they beat them?
Wednesday.
Yeah, that was 2 nights ago. No, you're right. You're right.
Someone said they were like, okay, we finally got to play. We can't just show we're trying to lose the games. We got to beat Charlotte.
I mean, even Washington tonight, like Toronto.
Washington's interesting. Washington's interesting team.
They're 3-11 against the spread, right? At a certain point, the books are going to get out in front of them. Like they covered against Minnesota, they only lost by 11. I don't know. And I think what you were talking about, that motivation angle that you were talking about, Craig, where like these teams know they have to win and win by blowout. The public knows that, so the books know that, so they're shading those lines that way. Sure. And just because Boston wants to win this game by 20 points because that's the max thing doesn't mean that they're going to. Like I don't. How
about Utah? What do you think of Utah? That one's interesting. Remember the first game of the Cup, they lost by 40 at Minnesota. but they're good at home. They're like, what, 4-1, 5-1 against the spread at home. So it's like 17 points. I just don't think the Thunder are out there like, hey, we gotta win the cup. I just think the Jazz are the play in that one.
Jazz at home for sure. I mean, plus 16.5. And like you said, Craig, the Thunder, how motivated are they in this cup? If they're going to, win and cover, it's definitely going to be the Jazz here tonight at home, where they play better than they do on the road. But the motivation factor for OKC, like you said it, Craig, how much are they going to be into the NBA Cup? They want to get to the finals. They want to repeat again. So I would take the Jazz here plus the points.
Someone said the Warriors last night. They were like, "What are you?" They sent us a message on comments on YouTube, and they said, "What about the Warriors? Steph's not complete unless he wins a cup." And I'm like, "Come on, you can't even type that with like. Trust me, the Warriors have only one goal this year, and it's to get to the NBA Finals."
Mark, that number, okay, it's 1-866-238. 6696. Okay, that's the number for Doc Sports right there.
Drop it in the chat.
I can't type in the chat, or else I would. So
I got it I just put it in the chat.
There you go. Thank you very much. And remember, this is very important. That free 60 below, you can use that for anyone in any package. Use that free money for their picks. Buy my picks. Okay, use your
I'm okay with that.
For my picks. That $60 only works for Nick and Craig. Mine, you got to pay cash.
By the
way, Tulane, baby. Tulane up 6 on Utah State. Took them plus 10.5. And they came out and played well. Again, it's just my theory. Like, especially at a 1:00 tip, Utah State traveling to Charleston as a 10.5-point favorite. It is hard to blow teams out in the first game of these tournaments. Please keep that in mind, because there's going to be a ton of these holiday tournaments over the next 7 days. Just, keep that in mind.
How about college football tonight? 2 pretty decent games that, kind of mean something, especially bowl eligibility in this first one. Florida State and NC State, both of them are 5-5. So both of them need one win left. They got to win one of the last 2 games. And then you got Hawaii and UNLV. UNLV's favored by 3. Haven't stopped anybody all year long, even though they're 8-2 on the year. Total 64. Hawaii, nice 7-3 year. Any interest here, Nick, on any of these 2 games?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the ACC matchup, and we got to go with Florida State here. Lay the points, and I say this because of one thing. Next week, Florida State heads to Florida to play the Gators here. So if they want to get that bowl eligibility, I think the route here is a lot easier to take care of North Carolina State on the road. I know Florida State has not been good on the road, but again, if they want to get this bowl eligibility here, this is a better test than leaving your faith and go and play an in-state rival in Florida next weekend. So I like Florida State here. Lay the wood minus 5.5 on the road. I know they haven't been good, but I think they play good here tonight.
The one thing about the Florida game, Florida will be they don't have a chance to get to a bowl. So they could just be playing out the string, obviously interim coach. And the whole Lane Kiffin thing might be solved, might not, if he's still that's still crazy. Robert, any opinion on either that game or that Hawaii UNLV game? I think both of them are pretty compelling, at least.
I do. I actually have sides in both games as rated plays and a total in the UNLV game that I will give out now. And if you have my package, don't be upset because they don't know how much the unit ratings are. One could be 1 unit, one could be 5 unit. I'm with Nick 100%. I like Florida State in this game. I agree with you. They've been terrible on the road, but they're a good team, and they've been competitive against other good teams. Like, losing to Miami by 6, losing at Virginia in overtime, like losing to Pitt by 3. Those aren't bad losses, right? Like, they're a good team that can lose to Miami by 6 shows that they can play with high-end teams. Like NC State, they were never in that game with Miami. Like, they have gotten blown out by any of the good teams that they have played. So Florida State is just a better team here. So that's kind of why I like them. And, I've been on the Hawaii bandwagon for most of this season. I've used them a bunch. Yeah. They're a lot better than people realize. Like, I definitely like them. I won a 5-unit play with Utah State last week against UNLV. This UNLV team isn't as good as their record is. They were lucky. They should not have won that game. That Utah State kicker, God, I feel for that guy, man. Like, missing extra points and missing field goals. Like, I hope he's okay. Let's just say that. So I'm just going back to the well against UNLV here. I also like the over in that game. Like, this Hawaii offense is outstanding. And to your point, like, UNLV doesn't stop anybody.
Nobody.
Like, I'll be surprised if Hawaii doesn't put up 40 in this game. You know, you got them, you have all that speed at receiver, you have them indoors on a fast track. I think that this game is going to be a shootout. I could see like 44-41 type of thing with Hawaii winning. I think it's going to be a close game again because that's all UNLV does is play close games, but I like the over and I like Hawaii.
Dan Mullen's done a great job, but it's the what ifs. Like Miami of Ohio should have beat them. Air Force scored $1 million, had a chance to beat them. Last week, Utah State, yes, you're 8-2 or 9-2, whatever, the 8-2. But they could easily be 500. Like that's how close it is sometimes and how coaches get fired or promoted. I have not heard a whole lot of Dan Mullen talk from the SEC, which I'm a little surprised because what he did at Mississippi State
was awesome.
Was awesome. And in Florida, I thought he was better than what it's just like people at Florida are just unrealistic. I think they would take him. They would have taken him the last however many years since they
had him though, right? Like,
that's what I'm saying. But when he was at Florida, his performance at Florida was better than any of these guys.
Oh, sure. You're right. They're all these SEC schools are delusional. If Lane Kiffin leaves though, that'd be an interesting name for Ole Miss. Like would they bring him back? But you know, one thing I'll say, I don't know that he really has done that good of a job. Like Barry Odom left him a pretty stocked cupboard. Like there was a lot of talent on this team. Like not a ton of guys transferred, not as many as you would have expected from this team. And they've been really good the last 2 years. So he came into a pretty good situation. I also think the Mountain West is as bad as we've seen it in recent years. Like a lot of teams this year in the Mountain West are down. Just like, not to spin it back to college basketball, but kind of like what we're seeing with the MAC. Anybody that's been following the MAC basketball this year, like the MAC looks awful right now. And why is that? Because those guys with the NIL and the transfer, guys from the Mountain West Football Conference are now moving up, depleting the Mountain West from their good teams. Same thing like with the MAC in basketball. Like you see all these guys going to these other places and what they're leaving behind is like an empty shell of what used to be a very good, very competitive conference.
Yeah, like in football, San Diego State is not that great this year. They're just beating up on like lesser, teams that just are down this year. Boise State, this is the Boise's team.
6-4.
Yeah, like it's just, and it's a tough, it's tough to figure it out. I think what's going to end up happening is the smaller conferences, both basketball and football, that's where the freshmen are going to go. And you're going to go there because that's where you're going to get all your minutes. And then you're going to play 1 year, and then you're going to, go to big time college football or college basketball because now you'll have experience and you'll get paid more.
It's like upgraded JUCO.
Yeah, this is
like that's why I went to JUCO. You went there for 2 years.
Nick knows all about the minor leagues of baseball, Mr. Like Virginia Tech Division I baseball player.
Hey, come on, VT James Franklin.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that Miami game? What are your thoughts?
And I already said it in the breakdown too. But be very cautious with laying those points with Miami. Franklin's going to be there. The whole community is going to be there in Blacksburg this weekend. The recruits are coming. I'm telling you what. It's going to be buzzing there in Blacksburg. Take the points with the Hokies.
But don't you think the one worry there, don't you worry, like Miami kind of needs some style points a little bit. Like
they might need it, but they're not going to get it. This place is going to be rocking. I'm telling you.
Right.
11 o'clock kickoff.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't buy that line of reasoning at all. Like this team needs to win by blowout to impress the committee. Like if it were that easy, everybody would do it, right? Like I just you don't always play a team that is bad. You know what I mean? Like that you're that much superior. They are that much superior. But that's what I mean. Like if Georgia this week needed style points against Charlotte, then they could go out and win by 60, which they probably won't do. Again, Kirby Smart is 0-15 against the spread, laying more than 38 points. Like you can do that. But I don't know that Miami can just step out of bed and be like, you know what, we're going to win by 40. Again, they didn't cover for me as 28.5 point favorites at home against Syracuse.
That was one of the worst beats ever, though.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, if they can't do that, I'm with Nick. Like, this was one of the last plays that I pulled off my card. Like, I've kind of been anti-Miami for a lot of the year. This was the one play that I pulled off my card because I wasn't sure if Franklin being there was going to be a distraction. Yeah, I wasn't sure if all the players are like, well, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like if everybody's already looking at their next thing now that he's been like, I just don't know how they're going to react to that. But I'm kind of with you. Like if everybody rallies, if everybody's there trying to impress the new guy, if they get a good home crowd there, I think they can be competitive in this game. And Cristobal, it's Mario Cristobal. Like all this guy does is piss down his pants. Like wouldn't surprise me.
Between him and the quarterback Carson Beck, that's absolutely been terrible. I mean, he cost them the Louisville game. Literally, I thought he was playing for Louisville. He just kept throwing picks to the other team. If he doesn't throw all those picks, they still win, even though they lost a turnover battle by 3. So the ACC is an absolute dumpster fire in basketball. They're a dumpster fire in football.
Yes.
Like they're like Clemson, Florida State, and who? Clemson, Florida State. Who else am I missing? Or I want to get out of the. This is why they want to get out of the ACC, because it's the biggest haves and have-nots. I guess the Big Ten is something.
Big Ten's a joke.
But
we'll move on.
In what sport? In what sport are they a joke?
You know they haven't won
Every
the Big
sport.
Ten. Guess what year they won the. Robert will know. Nick, guess what year last year they won a basketball championship?
The Big Ten?
Yes.
05.
I think
Ohio
it's 02.
State.
Further
02,
back.
right?
There's 2000.
It was the McTeam Cleaves.
Exactly 2000.
Mateen Cleaves. So those guys are almost 50 on that team. So yeah, it's and think about all the teams that have been highly ranked in the tournament, and we just haven't seen it.
I think trying to leave the ACC though is dumb. Where are you going to go? The SEC. You want to go be Mississippi State? Like, you know what I mean? That's what Clemson's going to be. They're going to be South Carolina. Like, you're not going to go be the top. Like, if you have a bad conference, stay there and dominate that conference. Like, that's what I would do. Clemson,
but the money is so much bigger.
Been very good organizations lately, especially
it's double. It's double the money though for football. The payouts from an SEC team to almost double than the ACC teams. That's going to matter in NIL and also now that revenue sharing is coming in, it's a big deal that they're having to basically Boston College gets the same cut as Clemson does. Are you kidding me? This team's not on the same level. They're like triple the value. So at least in the SEC, you say, well, Vandy. Well, Vandy's shown some both basketball and football lately. Like, we haven't seen that at the bottom of the rung of the ACC. This year, I will say this. Louisville plays Cincinnati today. What do you think of that game, Robert? It's in Cincinnati, but it's not at Fifth Third Arena.
One thing real quick. Maybe in 10 years, what we will see with the reorganization of college sports is something closer to like the English Premier League style setup, where you have promotion and relegation among conferences and conference teams going for those payouts. Okay, I like this Cincinnati team. I like the Cincinnati team. I feel like a little bit more than you do. I feel like they cleared out some of the head cases that were on that team and in that program the last 2 years. Like, they had some good talent and they underachieved each of the last 2 seasons. Now, Louisville is not a team that I want to jump out in front of because I still don't know what their ceiling is. They lost a lot of good players from last year's team, a lot of shot makers. I haven't watched that freshman play, that point guard. Apparently he is a stud, and Louisville is very much a feel team. They run kind of a unique offense. Everybody's ready to shoot at a moment's notice. So I need to see how like the chemistry is with this team before I start laying nearly double digits to a very competent Cincinnati team. But I just couldn't take the Bearcats because, again, if Louisville gets hot, they could win by 18 if they're hitting their threes here tonight. Don't be surprised if this is a competitive game. My lean would be Cincinnati. Like, gun to my head, who would you take tonight? I would take Cincinnati. But the only reason it wasn't on my card is because, frankly, I'm scared of Louisville until I know what their ceiling is.
The McNeely kid, from getting him from Virginia, the dude can absolutely light it up. He's very close to here. I live near West Virginia. I'm in Ohio, but near West Virginia. I watched him in the state championship 4 years ago, maybe now, 5 years ago. Dude can absolutely fill it up. And that's all you need to do. They shoot a lot of threes. They were absolutely amazing against Kentucky. Now, that is your rival. They got up. So, but people don't know.
That Kentucky win doesn't look as great now, right? Like, after what happened to them in MSG. Mikel Brown, by the way, is the freshman. Ryan Conwell, by the way, speaking of shooters, that's the kid that came over from Xavier. He can absolutely stroke it. They're Keyshawn Pryor, he's the kid with the dyed hair that got hurt early in last season. That was one of their starters. He's back. Like, Louisville's got some dudes. They got some dudes. Way more deep, way deeper than last year's team. They had the kid from Chucky Hepburn last year, and that dude was an experienced guard. Now that's not easy to replace, if you know what I mean. Yeah. That's just. But they have more guys. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes more isn't always better, especially when you get the tournament. I do like it early in midseason, but the way they play, Pat Kelsey, I played against him since I was 7 years old. We're the same age, both Catholic school kids.
can absolutely super big winner. He won at Winthrop, big. He won at Charleston, College of Charleston, big. And look what they're still doing because of him. And they got a home run here higher. And remember, Louisville's only an hour and 25 minutes from Cincinnati. These used to play every year, twice a year, because they've been in the same conference until Louisville moved to the ACC. So these are hidden rivals as far as fans. I think Louisville will pack the Heritage Center there in Cincinnati. I think Louisville wins and wins big.
Honestly, you know what threw me off of it was Kirk Kriisa. I like the Cincinnati team, but I don't like him at all. He's just a weirdo. Like, he was at Arizona, then he was at Kentucky, then he was at West Virginia, and now he's at Cincinnati. Like, 4 teams in 4 years. He's shady, but everything else about the Cincinnati team, and Wes Miller's a good coach, man. I think you're selling Cincinnati just a little bit.
Let's put it this way. Wes Miller was this close to getting fired last year. He was also this close to getting the North Carolina job. People don't know that.
Right. There you go.
He was the walk-on player there and coached under that tutelage there. And so if Hubert Davis didn't, obviously much bigger name, that's how he got it. But Wes Miller's a great coach. I just don't know if the fit in Cincinnati hasn't necessarily worked. Hasn't gotten to the tournament yet. It's this year. It's boomer bust this year. So this game will go a long way, I think, to determine if Cincinnati makes a tournament this year, because the Big 12 is going to be once again absolutely brutal. Like, teams that are in the Big 12 will be under 500 and make the NCAA dance again this year, and Cincinnati is probably going to be that one of those teams right on the cusp again.
Hey, keeping it there too, by the way, a game that I am interested in is Georgia Xavier. I don't think Xavier is very good this year. They got little Dicky Pitino. Yeah, I think they're bad, right? And if you look at Georgia's scores this year, they have killed people. They beat Bellarmine by 50. Maryland Eastern Shore, they beat by 70. Moorhead, they beat by 40. Florida A&M, they beat by 30. Like, those aren't good teams, but to beat another college basketball team by 70, another D1 team. I watched a little bit of that Georgia Tech game. They were like 16-point favorites in that game, something like that. They never even came close to covering that rivalry. So I want to see, like, how good is Georgia really? How bad is Xavier really?
Yeah. Xavier lost to Santa Clara, FYI, and it was never close at home.
Yeah, they're not a good team. But like I said, I couldn't lay double digits on a neutral site in one of these games. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think Pitino got his, he did a great job at New Mexico. I'm going to be very honest. Like, that was a great job at New Mexico. Not so good when he was at Minnesota, though. He did okay at New Mexico. He came into a pretty good spot. He had a good team last year, a really good team last year, basically a really great player. They had Donovan Dent. Yeah. Donovan Dent just carried them last year. So, and where did he end up going?
Job he did there, but what's that?
Where did he transfer?
UCLA.
Yeah.
You got hurt early.
Mick Cronin, I'm going to be honest. I was like,
Nick. Here we go. He hates Mick Cronin.
I thought he would never make it at UCLA. He's done better than I thought. He's very brash. He's very brash, and I thought that would not. They're more corporate and like they're.
Listen, for those of you that are watching, he hates Mick Cronin. Mick Cronin, when Craig was at a basketball camp when he was young, he came over and knocked his ice cream cone out of his hand.
No, I worked for him.
And he hated him ever since.
When John Lawyer left UC, Mick Cronin came in and took a spot at UC. So I worked for him 1 year at basketball camp, ran basketball camps when I was 21 years old, and he's a fucking prick. And people will tell you that he's a prick. It's just
Nick, give me a college football winner tomorrow. Give me a college football winner.
I just did. I'm wearing the shirt. It's V2, and it will always be the ACC above Big Ten. I am fortunate enough to go to 2 Power Fives, 1 ACC, 1 Big Ten. ACC all day over that Big Ten. End of discussion.
20 years ago, you were right. Now you're not.
I'm going to give you a winner for me. The one that just missed my card this week is Northwestern -4. I think Northwestern needs to become bowl eligible. Last week, if you win the turnover battle like they did and lose, that is almost impossible to do. But I think they have a big bounce back week, and I'm not like PJ Fleck is like one of those guys that he's just. He's as high as I think they're going to get. So if you're Minnesota and you're happy with these 6-4, 7-4 type years, where you go to a bowl every year and maybe you beat one good team every year, good for you. But that's as good as you're going to get. I think Northwestern's a much better team.
Hey, Greg Mason in the chat asked me if Miami's going to lose that one last game that we need. I really hope so. Okay, this is kind of the situation that I envisioned. I put it right in my write-up. They have these back-to-back road games at Virginia Tech and at Pitt. I was expecting Virginia Tech to be a better team when I released. For those of you that don't know, I have a big ticket on Miami under 9.5 wins. They threw away one of the games that I thought that they would. And again, if you read my write-up, I thought they might lose to Notre Dame. Won by 3. If they played Notre Dame tomorrow, I think they lose that game. And I did not think that they would make it through that 3-week gauntlet of South Florida, Florida, at Florida State. I didn't think they'd win all 3 of those games. So if they had lost to Notre Dame, which they were underdogs in that game, or if they had lost one of the 3 Florida games, we'd already be home. There's still a chance. I don't think that they lose outright this week to Virginia Tech, but Pitt's a weird team, man. Pitt is a very weird team. Depending on how they play this weekend against Georgia Tech, that's a huge game in the ACC race. That could impact it. So I am certainly
need Pitt to win this week, right? You need Pitt to win this. You need Pitt to win this week, right?
Yeah, so that they'll have momentum going into next week. Whereas if they lose this week, then their bubble might burst. But even if their bubble bursts, Pitt's just that weird type of team. Like I could see them getting blown out by 20 this week by Georgia Tech and then beating Miami next week. Like that's just how Pat Narduzzi teams kind of do it. So it's 2 road games in 2 cold venues for a Miami team that has only left the state of Florida 1 time this year. They left Florida 1 time. They went to SMU and they lost. So, I'm hoping so, man.
They're going to be obviously the big favorite this week. I'm guessing next week they'll be 7.5 to 8.5, maybe 9.5 spread. So it's like they're going to be favored pretty heavily in both.
Pitt loses, and let's say if Miami wins but doesn't cover, Pittsburgh loses this week, I think they'll be double-digit favorites next week at Pittsburgh. I think they'll be laying 13.5.
Wow.
Something like that, 11.5. Like it's Miami. You know what I mean? And everyone will assume again, because remember, next week
the Notre Dame spread?
The playoff bracket again. If Miami still isn't in it or they don't like it, then everyone's going to be like, oh, they got to blow out Pitt. They got to win by 40 against Pitt. And that's just going to drive that number up.
What was the Miami or the Notre Dame Pitt line? 13?
3. The Notre Dame Pitt line. No, it was 11.5. It was like 10.5, 11 until Narduzzi came out and was like, I don't care if we lose by 100. This game doesn't matter. Then everybody bet it and it went up to like 13, but it opened at like 10.5, 11.
Well, it'll be in that line because obviously that's very similar type talent. All right, guys, we went a little over, so you guys get a little extra. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, make sure you check out our free $60 account. Also, if you want some extra content, YouTube premium levels, we got 3 different levels, anywhere from $4.99 up to $49.99 a month. You get tons of extra plays. Click the link in the description to get in. Appreciate you guys joining in. Join me tomorrow. I haven't done a 11 o'clock with Griffin yet, but I'm covering for Lenny tomorrow. So me and Griffin for an hour tomorrow, taking all your comments, everything college football. You could actually ask any questions for any sports. All right, guys, have a great day. See you again tomorrow.